If you are an elementary level science teacher and you are trying to introduce productive struggle into your science classes, look no further. I've got you. If you don't know me, I'm Ashley McCarver. I teach 4th grade science and social studies. And this, what I'm about to show you, is one of my tried, true, recycled, use it every year activities. Okay, the first thing I do is I read Rosie Revere, Engineer. If you're an elementary teacher and you don't know about Rosie Revere, let me put you on her. This is a book about a 2nd grader who dreams of becoming an engineer, and she goes through failure, and then things happen. Okay, so I do tell my 4th graders, I'm like, yes, this is a 2nd grader, but it's still applicable to y'all. So we read it and we listen to it and we talk about it. And I also tie it into my social studies because her, spoiler alert, her great aunt is Rosie the Riveter. And that's pretty cool. So we go through this and we talk about it. And then after we read it, I have a wall in my classroom that says, what does a scientist do? And there are different words. And every year, up until this year, I had 3 this year pointed out. They find different words. It could be communicate, it could be discover, it could be invent, etc. But there's one word I always draw their attention to, and it's fail. Okay? 3 of my students today found that word. That has never happened to me before, but I digress. Anyways, we talk about those words. And then I give them a productive struggle activity. And this one is something anybody can do, and it's cheap. Most of the time we all have index cards in our classroom, so I make them put their whole head through a 3x5 index card. And I let them sit there with it for about 7 minutes. You can adjust it to your class's time needs, but I let them sit there with it. I'm like, I would think things through before you start cutting. I give them scissors. I'm like, you can cut, but you can't tape or glue. So those are 2 of my rules. And then, of course, your whole head has to fit through it. It has to stay one piece, and it cannot rip when you put it through. So I let them think about it and tinker. And I have a timer on the board, and that just kind of gets them used to working under time limit. Then, after they've explored, and some of them came close, some of them would give up. But that's telling me who is going to be dependent on a yes or no answer or a right away answer in my classroom, which STEM is kind of, you don't get that right away. So here is the solution if you want it. If you don't, you can skip this part. But you fold your index card, your 3x5 index card. I'm going to fold it to where I can see the lines. You fold it like a hamburger. And then your open end should be up to start. Your folded end should be facing you. You're going to cut the edge, not all the way to the top. See how I've made it like that? And then you're going to cut the other side. And then you're kind of going to do a flip to where the folded or the opening is now towards you and the folded side is out. And you're going to keep cutting lines about that size. Not all the way to the edge. That way it won't separate. And then you're going to just keep flipping it back and forth until all the pieces make like an edge. At this point, you should have something that looks like this, but all the way down. And then, so you can kind of see, you're going to take the 2 ends. I pull them down towards me just so I don't accidentally cut them. I cut the folded piece in half. And this is not anything groundbreaking or new. There are several creators on here that do that, but I'm just telling you how I use it in my classroom. So now that I've cut my index card and it's all apart, it should open and make something like this, and your head does fit through it. And that is what I do. And it's one piece, like, oh, sorry, my hair. It's one piece. It's all connected, and I didn't have to use tape or glue. But if you want to introduce productive struggle and you were looking for ideas, this is what I do. Anyways, if you like this or like teacher content and teacher outfits, I do a lot of those. Like, follow for more on all the things. Happy Monday.